Okay guys, so today I want to show you how to build a deck in the Demon Rush trading card game. Now this is a Sorin deck literally right out of the box, so nothing has been changed in here. And the Sorin and Rush starter decks, which I've actually made videos opening them on the channel if you want to see what's inside, they're both good to go. So you can literally buy one and start playing immediately. But how do you improve your deck, right? Like, what is the most important things? Like, what do you take out when you start getting some booster packs, and how do you upgrade your deck? The first thing is you probably in the first set want to maximize on angels that you have. Right now, they're like the god cards, the boss monsters, and they're, usually like the game winners, but not always. They're probably going to get phased out a little bit as the game progresses, but for now in the first set, they are the most powerful soldiers, and you're probably going to want to do a lot of those. The second thing I want to make very clear is, and as we've been seeing from a lot of playtesting on the new Demon Rush Discord, by the way, if you have a webcam, you can actually just play on your phone as well. We've been playing on Discord. There's a specific Demon Rush Discord for people to play against each other, and we've been having a blast. And we've been seeing the meta kind of develop a little bit as we've been playing. One of the main things is just running the max of every protection spell that you can find. So this is Contradict. It negates an opponent's spell card and destroys it. And so cards like this, Body Obstruction, and Chains of Destruction, like cards like these and Candle the Hopeless, which these all come in the structure deck, by the way. These cards you probably want to maximize and put as many as possible. We've been seeing that these cards shut down combos so much that it's so imperative to run them, not only to protect your own soldiers and greater beings and everything that's on the battlefield, but also because it just literally can shut down these huge combo decks, and then they're left defenseless. And you'd be surprised that you can actually win this game with very weak soldiers. You don't have to run big boss monsters like Yamura. I mean, in fact, I wouldn't even recommend running this card unless you're just playing with the structure deck. I'd favor something else like Mystical Tiger of Legend is very good. Pavana, the Cherished Templar, she comes in this deck, is also very good. I mean, the Sorin structure deck has a lot of very strong cards on its own. If you want to see what every card is, you can read and look through. It's on the website on demonrush.com, and then just go to Trading Card Game and scroll down, and you'll be able to see every card, read them, theory craft with deck building, etc. Some cards, and you kind of have to decide if you want to build a combo deck or a stun deck. So stun is what you would call in traditional card game like a control deck. Like they basically just play a lot of protection and lock your opponent down. But there's also these like huge combo decks. Let me get this out of the way here. So I've seen a lot of players using Mystical Tiger of Legend. He doubles the Imperium you replenish every time you replenish. So if you combo him with something like Warhorse or Sorin's ability and discard like Golden Coin, which when it's discarded you replenish 3, now because of the Tiger you're replenishing 6, and then you have enough Imperium to, keep going, play some more soldiers, play some more spells, and there's a lot of things that you can do with these combos. As far as how many soldiers you'd want to run, let's see how many soldiers come in the structure deck. I think you probably want to run something like 15 to 20 soldiers and 20 to 25 spells. Oh, and this card Exodus is absolutely broken. It's literally too broken. I don't know if I'm going to have to errata this or limit it to 1 in the future, but I really wish I made it cost 3. So you can play it at any time, and it vanquishes a soldier from the battlefield, either yours or your opponent's, and then it returns at the next turn, at the beginning of the next turn, but its effects are permanently negated. But basically, it's like a Sleeping Potion on steroids. Although Sleeping Potion, which is a mythical rare, does have actually some kind of hidden rulings that make it pretty damn strong as well. But I think basically every deck should be running 3 Exodus right now because it's just too good. Okay, so the Holy Structure deck comes with 16 soldiers and 24 spells. You don't really have to worry about, mixing in holy spells or neutral spells. The neutral spells are really the best right now, and that's because both decks can use them. But yeah, I would try and follow something like that. I probably wouldn't go over 20 soldiers unless you're playing some kind of deck where you get to search a lot, like with Pearlhawks, Spirit Wolves, Hell Spawns for the evil, things like that. Maybe you would juice up the number quite a bit. But from what I've seen, running a relatively low soldier count with high amounts of defense spells has been seemingly the strongest so far, unless, and people are continuing to experiment with different combos and breaking the game as we speak, which is pretty interesting. Now, draw power is very important, and both decks can use a lot of draw power and searching in order to make their deck consistent and get into their god cards quicker. But I made an evil stun deck with literally 0 draw power. It basically just plays, very few annoying soldiers, and I revolve the whole deck around keeping them alive with no draw power. But that deck has not lost yet. So although some of the draw power is the most sought after and expensive cards because drawing is fun as hell and it helps you draw into your gods, it's not necessarily the best yet. But against stun decks, I would recommend siding in 3 Cosmic Energy to destroy those really annoying soldiers. I think this card's going to start to see a lot more play because it's less expensive than Chains of Destruction, which has more utility, but playing a 3 cost compared to a 5 can make a big difference over whether or not that you can continue playing on your turn. So the great thing about the game is that since there's really no bad cards, like the meta is constantly shifting, and one deck that you're using to beat someone else, and the next person you play might smash you. And so far, with the exception of the stun deck I've made, it doesn't really seem like anybody's invincible. And that stun deck, I'm sure there's ways to counter it as well. You just have to play anti-stun. And also, as the card pool increases, those stun decks should be easier to get around as well. For structures and equips and everything, it's really up to you, like how many you want to run and what kinds you want to run. For my holy deck, I run Angelic Armor, Church of Dominus, and Tower of Babel. And I think I just run one of each. Because the great thing about this is you can also, if they ever get destroyed, you can recycle them with Jacob. And I run 2 Jacobs in my holy deck. So you probably don't want to run too many of the same structure because you can only have one out of that name at a time. And as for equips like Flaming Sword and stuff are pretty nice right now, but I don't feel like sometimes it can get you ahead in a certain situation. I even tried a rush deck where I literally just hit the whole deck as equips and I got my rush to like 20 strength. So there's things you can do with it, but I think for now equips are probably on the weaker side unless somebody figures out some nutty combos with them. But I do like the armor, especially Angelic Armor. And I think Leviathan's Hide, which is a common, is pretty overlooked because if you get that out early, it's just going to make your champion naturally super tanky and you'll basically be able to prolong the game quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't run tons of these, but if you get them out early, like these 3 cards, any one of the 3, and it doesn't get destroyed or you're able to keep it alive, you just get such a huge advantage like the entire game. As the game progresses, your advantage builds up by using these sorts of structures. And the evil ones are really good too, but you kind of have to build like an evil turbo deck that revolves around them. My evil stun does not run structures or equips or anything. It's literally just See Pasley, Arcog the Shield Demon, and like literally just the rest protection spells. And it's just really annoying. Not even really that fun to play. It's just a very like annoying deck for your opponent. This card has started to see some more play, the Incantation. So you can use 3 of these and you can search your deck for soldiers with 4 strength or less or Incantation of the Weak 2 strength or less. So if you have like combo pieces that you really need in order for your combo to go off, these tutors, which are relatively inexpensive, can be very powerful. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. My recommendation for building a deck is try to keep it at 40 cards. So 40, not including the champion. There's 40 cards here. You want as little cards as possible, the minimum limit being 40, in order to maximize the amount that you're going to pool your good cards, right? So the lower your deck count, the higher percentage chance you have of drawing into your gods and your combo pieces and things like that. I don't recommend going up to 60. Like having more cards in your deck is actually detrimental to you. So I would always aim for 40, and it can get very hard. So sometimes, because you don't want to take out anything. So sometimes you run like 42 or something, but eventually I think everybody should be running a 40 card deck. And one other thing I want to say about Greater Beings is that I know they're the most sought after right now and everybody's running as many as they possibly can in their deck. But the main way to break the game with Greater Beings is not to just play one because, then you're exhausted. And they can use all these like 1-cost cards to just shut them down. Sleeping Potion, Exodus, will literally just shut them down, and then they're basically defenseless on their turn. So what you want to do technically is get your board to a point where you have plus Imperium limit, or if you're evil, you have Cemetery Hunter and Urzen the Treasure Meister, so you could play a god and have Imperium left over. That's really the key to this game. That's like the key to winning with greater beings, is you want to play them late stage in the game when you can either replenish Imperium while you're still at 0, or you start your turn with 12 Imperium, then I can play a bat, and if he tries to Chains of Destruction, I can contradict. And that's pretty much like how you're going to win the majority of the games. Slowly build up your city, like your arena, build it up with things that give you kind of passive effects so you can have more Imperium and protect your greater beings, as well as counter them while you have a greater being on board. And if you can get to that point, that's like really what the combo decks are best at. Then that's when you can just explode and protect your board at the same time, and it's just like really brutal. So I hope this deck building guide helped you guys. If you want help deck building, you want to play people, come join the Discord. The community's great. We're trying to build it up. So we'll see you guys soon tomorrow for another video.